At 70 years old, legendary bassist Michael Anthony has finally decided to open up about his time with Eddie Van Halen and the complicated, often painful truth behind their years together in one of the greatest rock bands of all time, Van Halen. For decades, fans knew Anthony as the quiet, steady presence on stage, the man whose booming bass lines and soaring backing vocals gave Van Halen its distinct power. But few knew the depth of the struggles and tensions he faced behind the scenes. Now, with age and perspective on his side, Anthony has chosen to expose what life with Eddie Van Halen was really like, and his words are both heartbreaking and eye-opening for anyone who grew up idolizing the band. According to Anthony, Eddie was a musical genius unlike any other, a man whose guitar playing rewrote the rules of rock and inspired countless musicians across generations. But he was also deeply troubled, battling personal demons that often spilled into his relationships with those closest to him. Anthony reveals that while the band appeared united on stage, behind closed doors, Eddie's temper, struggles with addiction, and controlling nature often made life unbearable. He describes moments where he felt disrespected, excluded from band decisions, and even pushed to the sidelines despite his essential role in shaping the band's sound. For Anthony, one of the hardest parts was the erosion of the deep friendship he once shared with Eddie. In the early days, they were inseparable, bound by a love of music and the thrill of creating something fresh and revolutionary. But as fame grew and pressures mounted, that bond began to crumble, replaced by resentment, jealousy, and mistrust. Anthony exposes the reality that by the later years of Van Halen, communication had broken down so badly that he sometimes felt like an outsider in the very band he helped build. Yet even as he shares the darker truths, Anthony also admits that his feelings toward Eddie are complicated, filled with both anger and admiration. He recognizes Eddie's brilliance and the immense joy his music brought to millions, while also acknowledging the pain Eddie's actions caused. Now looking back, Anthony confesses that he wishes things could have been different, that the friendship they started with could have survived the storms of fame, ego, and addiction. His revelations are not meant as an attack, but as an honest reflection from someone who lived through the highs and lows of rock's wildest ride. At 70, Michael Anthony is no longer afraid to tell the truth, even if it shocks fans who only saw the magic on stage. His exposure of Eddie Van Halen is a reminder that behind the curtain of rock and roll, even legends struggle with flaws, demons, and broken relationships. For fans, it is both a sobering and emotional revelation, showing that while the music will live forever, the personal toll it took on those who created it is something we may never fully understand.